Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining part 3 of our 6-part webinar series today. My name is Sarah Passero, and I'm here with AIS Media CEO and founder Thomas Harpointner, who will be hosting this exciting webinar titled New Email Marketing Rules for 2015. Here at AIS Media, we focus on providing lift to amplify brand awareness, customer engagement, and conversion rates, all the while delivering meaningful, measurable results. We have 2 locations, Atlanta and Dallas. We've worked with hundreds of clients, ranging from leading companies, top brands, to Fortune 500 corporations. Over the years, our creative team has been recognized with dozens of awards. Our content, such as what we're about to share with you today, has been featured on the global press and news, including Fox Business, CNBC, The Wall Street Journal, CNN Radio, and many others. Throughout the series, we're covering a variety of digital marketing topics. Today, we'll focus on email marketing to help you prepare for 2015. Here's Thomas.
Well, thank you, Sarah, and we're very excited to share this webinar today. It's been this whole series has been a labor of love for our team, and email marketing is one of our core competencies dating back to almost the year 2000. CAN-SPAM Act wasn't passed in 2003, so it's been a really interesting journey. Many people are interested in obviously what the next trends are going to be in email marketing. For 2015, we get a lot of clients asking us what's new, what's going to change, how they should prepare, and also some of the standard tips in terms of how to increase conversion rates, how to increase response rates, and how to just be better email marketers. So we're going to start today with just a few stats that we thought you'd be very interested in. First of all, that increasing conversion rates across the board, and this isn't just for email marketing, but conversion rates for websites, for email campaigns, for social media campaigns. In 2014 was a top priority for 47% of all marketers, according to a survey from ExactTarget. Everybody wants more conversions, obviously, because throwing more money at advertising while conversion rates are low is the easiest way to waste time, waste energies, and reduce your ROI. So while we focus on increasing conversion rates in email marketing, a couple of things to keep in mind. Email, although it may not be the fanciest channel right now with social media and retargeted display ads and mobile, a lot of these new trends really getting the front press, email still is the unsung hero because it does work. So a few reasons why email marketing ought to be part of your marketing mix. First of all, it can be extremely cost effective when it's done correctly. It's also very versatile. If you think about it, you can use email for just about anything to communicate with existing customers, new prospects, the press and media, many ways in which you can communicate with email campaigns. Marketing and driving conversions is, of course, just one of those, but for most marketers, it's the primary focus. Email also has the opportunity to drive immediate response rates, not just to websites, but particularly this time of year around the holidays. Email can be very effective at driving in-store traffic. One thing to keep in mind that about 90% of all people that will act or respond to an email campaign tend to do so within the first 48 hours. So, first couple of days are critical, and after that, you can really measure the response rate and test against those campaigns. It can also be very personal. If you're collecting personal contact information, first names, geographic locations, and so forth, email campaigns can be very relevant, and with greater relevancy also comes greater response rates. And of course, it's trackable, more trackable than some other channels like social media. It's often very difficult to measure exactly how social media is affecting sales or how many leads are generated as a result of posting content on a Facebook page. But with email, you can see exactly how many email messages were sent, how many were opened, how many people click, and ultimately what they do after they click by hitting a landing page, or actually how many actually make a purchase as a result of that email campaign. So that makes email very attractive. something else I'd like you to keep in mind is that the knowledge that you gain from an effective email marketing campaign can also be applied to other marketing channels like direct mail or website optimization, because we're still marketing to the same audience, right? People who read email obviously read, they may also read the newspaper or billboards, or they may also read their mail. So it's a great, email is a great way to test subject lines, messaging, calls to action, and so forth. So we're still very excited about email marketing after all these years. I don't see it going away anytime soon. Over the years, there have been some studies done, in terms of just how effective email is against some other campaigns, and we'll get to those in a moment. But Forrester Research, this is a quote that we borrowed from them. They call email marketing the workhorse of digital direct. So it's may not be the sexiest channel, but it certainly does its job consistently. Some of the more startling results, some of our clients might sometimes are even surprised about, is that it's an extremely effective way to engage an audience, engage customers, drive website traffic, increase conversion rates. In fact, email is 40 times more effective than Facebook and Twitter combined. It's not to say that Facebook and Twitter shouldn't be used as channels, but as far as directly acquiring customers, driving direct calls to action, getting immediate results, email really should be at the top of the list. And of course, over 90% of U.S. consumers do use email every single day. So that's always something good to keep in mind. As far as ROI goes, just comparing email to some other channels, Direct Marketing Association a few years ago reported that you can get a $44.25 return on investment for every dollar you spend on email. If you compare that to keyword ads, pay-per-click, for example, $17, or display ads run about $2. Not to say those channels shouldn't be part of your overall marketing mix, but if you're ignoring email marketing, you're ignoring a large part of your ROI. Also, as far as conversion rates go, I think part of this is due just to the measurability. Social is a little harder to measure, so as a result, the conversion rates tend to look a little lower. But email also drives very high conversion rates. If you're running an email campaign and your conversion rate is below this, or any of these other campaigns for that matter, do consider these as standards. If your email campaign, for instance, is delivering only a 1% conversion rate, I'd say you could probably benefit from some professional outside help. If you're getting a 5 or 6 or 10% conversion rate, you're doing actually quite well against industry average. So good job and kudos to you. Now, of course, the first step to an effective email marketing program is building that list. That seems like a no-brainer. I won't spend a whole lot of time on that today. But 77% of people do prefer email as their primary method of getting permission-based messaging. They prefer email over social campaigns or other campaigns. So when consumers and your customers are very receptive, they also tend to be much more responsive. So making email list building a top priority, again, seems like a no-brainer, but it's often overlooked. Here's an example. I'll point out that Southeast Dairy is one of our clients, so we decided to spotlight them today. But when we redesigned their homepage and moved the email subscription call to action to the top of the page, as you might imagine, the number of customers that subscribed went up significantly. So it was an easy way for the Dairy Association to grow their email subscriber base. And of course, the larger the list is, the more it makes sense to market via email. If you have a tiny list, the amount of time that goes into creating an effective email campaign is really no more if your list is 1,000 versus a list of 10,000 or 100,000 strong. So the first step really ought to be to focus on building your email list. And for many clients that we work with initially, that is the primary challenge. The email list is too small, or it hasn't been cleaned. It's not very responsive. They're not sure where these subscribers came from or what they're looking for. So we always tend to start with growing the subscriber base. Of course, if you're at this webinar today, it's quite possible that you received one of these email offers, which linked, of course, to this landing page. So make the call to action always very clear. Keep it focused, on one precise message. So this landing page probably looks familiar to you. We thought we'd slip that in. Hope you don't mind. You know, another tip is, of course, to segment and test. I mean, to maximize response rates, you do need to segment the audience a bit. You know, try to figure out who you're actually marketing to and provide relevant messages. And there are a few ways to segment a list that you know, it's proven very effective. One way is, of course, geographic. You know, everything that you offer may not be available to everyone, and it's extremely frustrating to customers to receive an offer and then discover that the offer they got all excited about happens to not be available in a particular area. You know, having been on the consumer and the business side, you know, we receive offers via email, you know, for instance, from telco providers about, you know, high-speed broadband internet services, and then we come to find out that the offer isn't available in our area. They're basically just blasting these offers out to everyone, and it's an easy way to start alienating customers. So geographic segmentation isn't just a way to increase conversion rates, it's also a way to increase customer satisfaction. Behavioral segmentation really focuses on the type of actions that people take, not trying to figure out their age, their income, their marital status, really just looking at behavior. You know, if you think, you know, a good example, you know, Victoria's Secret, they send a lot of email, particularly this time of year, but you know, having become familiar with, you know, the marketing team, they're very adamant about the fact that they really don't try to segment, you know, by age, income, sex, marital status. They simply just look at what people buy. You know, if you know, if you happen to buy perfume from their website, they really don't care much else about you. Not to say they, you know, don't care who you are, but they're really looking more about your behavior than trying to figure out your, you know, your age and your income and your marital status. They just look at what you're buying and then continue to offer, you know, make very relevant offers moving forward, and that's been obviously very effective for them. Purchasing power. This is particularly important if you're marketing to businesses. Tends to be very important, a very important way to segment the list. Because not everybody in the company has the same purchasing power or ability to make a decision. So collecting, you know, titles, you know, who you're marketing to, whether it's a VP or marketing coordinator, if it's a, you know, a CEO, CFO, tends to become very important. You know, again, these seem, you know, these concepts may seem somewhat elementary, but the challenge is usually in execution, because when it comes to list building, you know, it's important to keep the amount of information that you're collecting from a customer initially very, very minimum. Otherwise, no one's going to fill out a 20 field form and tell you all of their, you know, their internal secrets. But over time, as you get to know your customer better, gathering this information and then updating the list and then segmenting the list as we progress is very effective. As far as testing goes, well, there are a couple of ways to test. You know, you can run all different types of A/B split tests. You can test different times of day. You can test different messages. You can test different geography. It's a tedious process, but the ultimate goal is, of course, to increase open rates and increase click-through rates. You know, assuming you have a good quality list and you have high deliverability, you know, the two primary goals is to get more people to open the email, and once they open it, actually get people to click on that email and visit a landing page. And by testing different times of day, it's a great way to increase that open rate. Often we're asked, hey, you know, what is the best time of day to send out an email? And the answer is it entirely depends on your list and your industry. If you're marketing to consumers versus businesses, these are things that really need to be tested. I could tell you that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays tend to be better for marketing with email, and that's true many times. But by certain industries, early in the morning and late in the day tend to get much higher response rates than midday. It's important that these tests are done by industry, by client, and also by the type of products that you're offering. So again, a tedious process, but it really does pay off. And the conversion rates, if you can imagine a 15 to 20% increase in conversion rates simply by testing, without increasing your list, without changing the offer, without giving away more freebies, it's certainly one of the best things you can do to increase your ROI. Now, as far as content goes, and this is really good stuff. And and by the way, let me point out that we're going to make this entire webinar available as a webcast, which will be available in the next couple of days on our website. If you'd like to review it, share it with some peers, take some notes on your own time. You can put the pen down now to try to keep up with me, and just give us a couple of days, and we'll share this with you on our website. But as far as content marketing goes, with email, the checklist ought to be making your content relevant to the audience, right? Seems like common sense, but often we get bombarded with very generic messages. Compelling subject lines, extremely important. A lot of email never gets opened because the subject line is too boring or it doesn't make sense. High quality images. Yes, even via email, people are still very visual. In fact, the picture is the first thing we see. One central idea, meaning don't try to sell too much. People get confused, they're busy, especially when they're checking email on a mobile device. Keep it simple and give them a clear call to action. Do you want them to come to your store? Do you want them to visit the website? Do you want them to sign up for a webinar? So keep the one central idea focused, and use a very clear call to action. Now, here are a couple of tips we thought we'd share with you today. Delivering real value. Will subscribers gain knowledge from your email? Will your email solve a pressing problem, or the message in it, rather? And is it really worth their time? Are they, what are they gaining as a result of reading this email? These are the things that people ask themselves right away, even subconsciously. It's once been said that, everyone's tuned into one radio station, WIIFM, short for What's in It for Me. And these are the type of questions people, ask themselves very quickly. As far as high quality visuals go, here's an example from a famous fashion brand. Of course, the visual immediately grabs your attention, and then there's a clear call to action, right? In fact, you can pick who you are, man or woman, and you can go from there, and they have a unique message for you. 3M did a study revealing that visuals are processed 60,000 times faster in the brain than text is. So it's a strong argument from using pictures. Use high quality visuals whenever possible. Another tip, design and write with multiple screens in mind. Today many people open their emails on their mobile devices and then follow that email to their desktop PC, or they may get back to it later. So that responsive design also carries over to email. Again, keeping messaging short, concise, and something that delivers immediate value. Consider people are on the go. People are attention deficit today, and if there's not immediate value, they're moving on. Of course, we try to practice what we preach whenever possible. So another tip is to use that clear call to action. Here's an example: concise email, clear message, and a button that is very visible and easy to click. Subject lines. Keeping them short means 50 characters or less, simply because on small screens, that's about all the room we have. So use the 50-character rule. 64% say they open an email because of the subject line. If the subject line's not compelling, why read any further, right? Something to keep in mind, why do we need to go with mobile first? Well, here's why. Because very recently, in fact, earlier this summer, we now officially have more people accessing the internet through mobile devices than through desktop PCs. Well, mobile comes first, so design for mobile. Something to be mindful of is that the user interface has changed, right? The old mouse, well, guess what? The new mouse is the finger, whether it's on a mobile device or a tablet. Even some laptops now are touch friendly, right? So what does that mean? Well, you have to use larger fonts, you have to use larger buttons, you have to make it easier to tap. If you can tap it with a finger, you can still tap it with a mouse. So just be mindful of that. Mobile-friendly emails. Well, guess what? Marketers have responded, so the desktop-centric only emails have fortunately declined, and mobile-aware, mobile-responsive emails are on the rise. Ask yourself where you are. How good do your emails look on a mobile device? If people have to constantly zoom in or flip the phone sideways to try to figure out what you're trying to communicate. In marketing, of course, we call that friction. Friction is not good, and when people experience friction, they simply bail. They look for an alternative. Responsive email design, of course, propels email performance. Here's an example. So HubSpot did a survey just recently, and they found that about 80% of their emails are being opened on mobile devices. That's incredible. Now, not all industries are 80%. Some are close to 60%. We found, as we're promoting our webinar, about 65% of all of our subscribers open our emails on their mobile devices first. So, again, it pays to review your analytics or have somebody help you with that to really figure out what your audience is, who your audience is, and how they're engaging with you. So designing with context in mind also means that, we're still the same people, whether we're behind a computer or on a car or, on the go on the side, reading our phone on the sidewalk. However, designing with context in mind means, thinking of that person's intent. If we're on the go, we might be looking for directions to the restaurant, not so much the history of it. So, with an email campaign, the same rule goes as with a website. Consider what people might be looking for when they're on the go. If you're designing an email to drive, consumers on the go into a retail store, keep that in mind. Keep it short. Make it easy to read. Social sharing. This is where social media and email marketing really start to play well together. If you include social sharing buttons in email campaigns, we've tested it. We've tested it for ourselves, for many of our clients, and we are finding that it increases click-through rates. People do like to share. They like to share the content. Although anyone can forward an email to somebody else by clicking the forward button in their email program, but the sharing buttons really encourage it because that's what people are used to. They're very used to sharing content on Facebook. So, including those buttons in an email campaign has been proven to be quite effective as well. Of course, the rule is if you offer somebody if you want somebody to share, or if you're driving traffic from a social post, like in this case, we posted on Twitter, do make sure you drive that email campaign back directly to a landing page that's related to the offer, not a home page. Again, we sometimes feel this is common sense, but we're still, and I'm experiencing this. I get emails, I click the email, and it takes me to a website homepage. Not a great way to drive conversion rates. It's the quickest way to get people to bounce. So, give people a direct link to the offer, whether it's a social post or from an email. The email should link directly to a landing page that's specific to the offer. Timing, we also found, is key. Now, again, as I alluded to earlier, it doesn't need to be tested, right? Because every industry is a little different. If you're in financial services, it's a very different customer base than, say, consumer goods, or say we're marketing electronics. If you were Best Buy, this does have to be tested. But here's an example of an aggregate. All right, so it's a good benchmark that you can use to test against. That most emails are opened during certain peak times of the day, and that happens to be midday to early afternoon. Morning, a lot of business people come to work. Obviously, the first thing to do in the morning may be, to check email. But that doesn't hold true for every industry. Certainly not consumers. They're probably not checking their promotional emails, on the way into work in the morning, or at least they shouldn't once they get there. So again, do test it. Also, the days of the week matter. And again, it does have to be tested by industry. If you're marketing to consumers, Saturday might be a fantastic time to drive, in-store traffic or drive e-commerce sales. However, this is an aggregate, and we're finding that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are a great time, to send email. Of course, we'll always do an A/B split test against these averages to see how, our client campaigns perform against these. But rule of thumb is, if you're not sending email during the middle of the week, you're probably missing out on a great opportunity. So test the time of day, test the time of week, test different subject lines, test different target demographics, and of course, test the actual offer. The number one reason why people subscribe to an email list in the first place is, of course, to get deals and discounts. It's the same reason most people like certain Facebook pages, because they want coupons, they want specials. So knowing that people want deals and they want discounts, and knowing what time of day they're more likely to respond, and knowing what time of week, what day of week they're most likely to respond, is a fantastic way to increase response rates on email marketing. So for 2015, this type of segmentation is becoming a lot easier with, through many different platforms. At AIS Media, we're platform agnostic. We don't really marry ourselves to one particular email marketing system. We work with whatever our clients have or whatever is best for the needs of our clients. But the testing is absolutely pivotal. Now, if you've been running email campaigns or email is a big part of your agenda, you think you might be doing it really well, you might not be. Your gut might tell you that you could probably do 20–30% better if you had some expert insights. Something we'd like to offer you today, $299 value, but only for our webinar. Folks who attended our webinar today, we'd like to offer you a free conversion analysis of your email campaign. There's no obligation. You don't have to buy anything from us. We won't hound you unless you'd like us to. But we'll have our experts review your subject line, your email collateral, your landing page, your analytics, and then we'll give you written recommendations in terms of things that you can actually do. I think we timed this webinar very well because with the holiday shopping season right around the corner, it's not yet too late to maximize the conversion rates of your email campaigns. If you think about it, most people respond to an email within 48 hours after they receive it, and it's only October. We have obviously Cyber Monday, Black Friday, the whole holiday shopping season, the post-holiday shopping season. So it's not yet too late to make some last-minute changes and test some offers. But a great place to start is to actually figure out where you are today and get some expert insights and advice. So we'd be happy to do that for you. You can call our office, you can email us, and my friendly staff we'd be delighted to hear from you. Also, we have some exciting webinars, as part of the series. The next in line is new marketing automation rules for 2015, which email marketing directly ties into. Much of marketing automation, of course, relies on email messaging, the type of content that really drives engagement. How to nurture leads, how to get, how to build that lead funnel. So if, whether you're marketing to consumers or if you're marketing to other business professionals, marketing automation is a big, big trend for 2015. Again, we're platform agnostic. There are a lot of great tools, platforms out there. We simply look at messaging. We'll look at what's best for our clients. And in this next webinar, we have some good case studies we're going to be sharing with you. So again, our goal is to keep these webinars to about 30 minutes midday, so you can get some really good stuff you can immediately put to work and get back to your work day. Within the next couple of days, my team they're working diligently on creating an article that summarizes what we discussed today. We're going to post this webcast live on our website. And of course, as you might expect, we will send you an email invitation to go visit that blog article and, of course, the webcast. And I invite you to share that with any of your colleagues or friends. So we're just under 30 minutes today. Thank you so much for everybody showing up. Looks like we had another record turnout, and we look forward to having you all back at the